Okay, now it's time to do a tutorial on storyboard definitions. Okay, so basically what you want to do is you want to go to the info section and you want to change the name of whatever you're going to make. And make sure the name and the display name are the same. Leave the version date alone. Leave Mugen version alone. As you can see, it's already commented out. Leave the palette defaults alone. It's already commented out. Now the local coordinate needs to match the local coordinate you had for I think the fight definition file, or either your fight definition file, but I think you need to use the one that's for, it could be for either, but your fight definition file and your system definition file need to have the same local coordinate. Now put your name up here. I seem to have a lot of different nicknames. Technically, most of my stuff is going to appear as Champion Killer 14, but I was known as Riptide when I was on Mugen Guild, and I guess I could change it so that when you look at my YouTube videos, you'll know that it's from me, but I'm gonna leave it as Champion Killer 14 because that's basically what it's gonna be under. Um, don't leave spaces. I think you can't leave spaces for the author. If it gives me an error, if it gives you an error, just take out the spaces. Now you need to name it. Leave this at 0. Now, scene 0, there's different scenes and then there's different action numbers. I looked at the documentation for this and then I tried to create a storyboard based off of the documentation, and basically it didn't exactly work too well. So although you can have multiple scenes, I would just stick with one scene and then change the animation. So if you have to have two separate animations, then one animation will end, and then you just create the next one, which could be underneath a different group number. But I wouldn't try and make multiple scenes because it was just it didn't work for some reason. It acted crazy. So the first thing you want to do is fade in time. You should kind of know what fade in times are. And this is the fade in color. Do you want it to fade in from white or do you want it to fade in from black? I'm going to have this fade in from, I want it to fade in from orange. This, I believe, is pure orange. So this should be orange red. Then this is the fade out time. I want the fade out to be darker. This is a clear color. I'm not exactly sure what that does. It could be similar to the fade out color, but I doubt it. If the clear color is actually color that's between animations, then and if the clear color is a color that you see at the end of the animation going to the next scene, and the fade out color is just between scenes. What I'm trying to say is if the fade out color is between scenes and the clear color is between screens, then I just need to change it so both colors are the same. And since I only have one scene, then the fade out color isn't necessary. This is a layer position, which means this is the position for all of the animations. So I have to create more than one layer. I'm going to set this to 0, 0. I have, you want to comment each of your layers. I'm going to leave this offset at 360. The start time should be 0. I think they should all be 0 unless you want one to start later. So now that I think about it, it needs to be something different. Now your end time is how long this screen is going to last. And this is your background music, and this is whether or not you want your background music to loop. I don't want it to loop, and I do not want this MP3. Now I'm trying to remember where I have to stick that MP3. I think it's in the sound file, but it may not be. I believe you can just have sprites instead of animations. I hope. I haven't opened a fresh definition file for intros. I believe I actually got this from Kung Fu Man and edited it, which is what you're going to have to do if you want to make an intro or something. And there's a lot of junk in there, so let me show you what it looks like in Kung Fu Man. So this is Kung Fu Man's intro definition file. I just opened this with Notepad. As you can see, there are multiple scenes. I was not able to get multiple scenes to work. I don't see an option for sprites, so that means I have to leave everything as an animation. Okay, so I guess this means that they'll all have to be animations even if they don't move. Now, I'm not sure how long this needs to take. I have some information somewhere about it, but I have to do the calculations. The intro is about 1 minute. I'm going to assume the sound is supposed to be in the sound folder. Okay, so now it's time to put in the animations. There were quite a few here originally. There'll be even more for this intro that I'm making. Okay, adding the background image. I have the first image sitting there for an infinitive amount of time. All the rest of these images will come after this one. Now, the only thing I don't like about Fighter Factory is that it does not always add the images in order. It's sorted by name, and just because it's sorted by name does not mean that everything will be entered in by name. Alright, if that doesn't crash my computer, I don't know what will. What? Sort by name. Again. Start here and end here. Okay. Sometimes it acts crazy. Okay, so that didn't take as long as I thought it was going to take. Not in order. Not in order at all. I'm not sure why it does this, but I actually kind of noticed that I had a bit of a problem with certain frames appearing before others. It seems like it's stepping over itself somehow. What I'm going to have to do is probably change the order of the images down here. That is going to take a long time. But just to show you how it's supposed to work, let's just pretend again that all these images were in order. So I don't need this transparency. So what you would basically do is start at whatever animation you wanted and go from 1 to infinity. And about this background music, it looks like I don't have a background start time. I can try creating a background music start time. But if it doesn't work, I might have to edit the music in some sort of image editing program. So I want this animation to start later. And I don't know what the offset is going to be, but I think it'll probably be like 360, 360. Now another thing, I do not know how long each of these images should appear. I have a sheet somewhere that tells me how long this needs to be. Okay, I found the sheet, but I need to sync this to the music, so I think I'm I'm going to have to change the, I'm going to have to redo the calculations. I think it was supposed to be about 16, but in order to get this right, I know that certain scenes need to last longer than others.